Today I fucked up by accidentally dosing my entire adult family with LSD. This happened a couple of weeks ago at Thanksgiving. My boyfriend and I recently moved into a bigger place together with a few spare bedrooms and a large kitchen, and to celebrate we decided to host Thanksgiving at our house this year. Usually all family meals are held at my aunt's house, but she recently got divorced and unfortunately had to sell the house. This year we wanted to invite everyone we could since 2020 was limited to just my parents and my boyfriend's mom. We invited my parents, BF's mom, 3 aunts of mine, 2 uncles, and 6 cousins, all between the ages of 10–19. We prepared for 2 days leading up to Thanksgiving. We made pretty much everything ourselves except for a few appetizers. I've recently been getting into baking, so as a treat for the adults I made some edible hard candies with a small, 10 mg dose of THC in each candy. We had dinner early around 4 p.m. and all the kids were in the media room playing a racing game on the PlayStation. Once everyone finished their food, we asked the adults if they'd like to partake in my edible experiment, and being a California family fairly used to cannabis, everyone agreed. We had our candies and waited roughly 1 hour, and when nobody was feeling anything we decided to have another. I figured the amount of food we had just consumed plus my novice edible producing skills led to a dead batch. So I reached way back in the fridge to get the jar of store-bought gummies I had purchased months ago from a dispensary. I found the gummies, but they were in a plastic baggie instead of a jar. I assumed my boyfriend had repurposed the jar or transferred them to a bag when we moved. Every adult in the family had 1 gummy and we decided to take a little walk, but my boyfriend stayed behind to keep an eye on the kids. We left around 5:20 and started to feel our gummies around 15 minutes into the walk. The sky seemed to be a brighter shade of orange after the sunset and a few of us got the giggles. Around 30 minutes after we left the house I got a call from my boyfriend sounding very nervous as he asked, "Did you get these gummies from the jar or from the baggie?" I told him the baggie and received a large sigh in response. Then it hit me. We had eaten the gummies from the dispensary with friends on the night of our move. We had lots to drink that night and it totally slipped my mind. These gummies were 2–3 years old LSD gummies we had purchased for a music festival in 2018. My boyfriend didn't have to say anything for me to realize the enormity of the fuck-up I had made. I told him to stay calm and not to let the kids leave the media room until we got home. He hid the remaining gummies in our room and I told my family we should probably head back. The next 20–30 minutes of our walk back were filled with laughter and lots of pit stops to examine Christmas lights, mailboxes and trees my family members were enormously impressed by. I, on the other hand, was trying my best to figure out how to tell my parents, aunts, uncles and soon-to-be mother-in-law that instead of a small dose of weed which they were all familiar with and used to, they were in for a 8–10 hour experience with good old Lucy. I decided to wait until we were home in case any of them freaked out. We arrived home and all of the family members were in stitches laughing at each other's jokes and impersonations. I asked my boyfriend for advice, but he seemed overwhelmed and just wanted to go lie down for a bit. My 19-year-old cousin said he'd watch the kids, so I went back upstairs to join my family. I realized that as far as accidental druggings go, this was a pretty ideal situation except for the half-5 minors in the house. I took my now fully tripping family out onto the porch to sit around the fireplace and calmly informed them that they had each taken 125 micrograms of LSD instead of the 15 megagrams of THC I told them they had taken. My mom and one of my aunts started to hyperventilate a bit and my BFF's mom went to find her son. I calmed my family down and they all quickly became enthralled with the fire pit and the stars, briefly interrupted by the occasional question about trip length and asking if the kids were being taken care of. They called me an idiot and I agreed with their judgment. I left them outside to enjoy the stars and went to check on the kids and my boyfriend and his mom. The kids were all eating popcorn watching Star Wars and hardly noticed me coming in. But my oldest cousin could tell I was out of sorts and I had to clue him in. He laughed and once again asserted my idiocy and I once again conferred. He told me not to worry and that he'd put all the kids to bed and to just relax and have fun with the family. I checked in on my boyfriend and his mom and they both started howling with laughter when they saw my defeated face enter the room. I finally started to join in the laughter, making fun of the ridiculous situation I had gotten us all into. They gave me a hug and we went out to join the rest of my family. They were all in different zones. The uncles were focused on collecting more firewood and trying my collection of whiskeys. The aunts and my mom were intently listening to each other tell stories and staring at their wine glasses. One of them was playing Candy Crush and had a huge grin on her face. My boyfriend sat down with me on a couch and his mom joined the aunts, and the next several hours were as wonderful a family gathering I had ever experienced. We all spent hours talking and laughing and drinking, sometimes getting lost in the bathroom or kitchen, but mostly spending our time outside. Everyone handled themselves incredibly well, and I think it probably led to my BFS mom feeling much more included in my family than she had before. A few people had trouble sleeping, but they just put on old I Love Lucy episodes until their trips ended and they passed out. Overall, it could have gone so much worse, and I'm so grateful that nobody got hurt or was too overwhelmed. I think the acid had lost some of its potency, which certainly worked for our benefit this time. The next morning the kids made breakfast for everyone and absolutely trashed the kitchen, but I didn't mind. We had breakfast and I received a few more jeers from my family, and they informed me that they wouldn't be imbibing in any gummies at Christmas, but it was all in good fun. Too long did not read. Gave my family what I thought were weed gummies at Thanksgiving, turned out to be LSD. Edit. Forgot to mention that after the kids were put to bed, while we were still outside by the fire, we got into impersonations, and somehow my Trump impersonation came through. Complete with hand gestures, the voice, mannerisms and the asshole-shaped lips, I stayed in character for 45+ minutes while my family laughed and kept up their own characters. A few times the one of the kids would come out asking for something and Trump would order them back to their room. This turned into a game with the kids where they would come out to get scolded by the loud orange man inside me. Eventually I had to break character, not as easy as one would think, so that they would finally leave us tripping adults alone. Label your drugs, people. Holy heck, that is an amazingly great outcome. At worst it becomes a running family joke, at best, a new family Thanksgiving tradition. During lockdown my fiancé had the idea of doing mushrooms with my parents, who are respectable adults. I'm 36, parents in their 60s. I was not keen on tripping with my parents to begin with. Then no one listened to me regarding how to take them and not eating beforehand, etc. The result was that I was the only one who felt anything, and my dad being obstinate, putting on some movie with a lot of explosions and screams, while I tried my best not to wig out. It was not the same experience as Op. This would make a great movie. Can I Come for Christmas? This should be called, How I Accidentally Had the Best Thanksgiving Ever, Tears of Joy. That is hilarious, and you will hear about it for all time. Personally, I'd bring a big bag of gum to the Christmas event, like regular grocery store Haribo ones. Funny, but also extremely irresponsible. Today I fucked up conditioning my pubes, but it may have saved my life. This happened over 2 days, yesterday and today. It's winter, so I haven't been shaving. As such, I have grown quite a nest down there. Out of curiosity or stupidity, I decide to experiment. You can guess what happens next. I condition them with some strawberry fancy hair conditioner. Immediately, there's a horrific burning sensation and impending numbness. Then, to my damned eye-rolling annoyance, I begin to notice everywhere that this god-damned conditioner has touched was swelling, turning red and creating a rash. Now, I had never used this particular brand of conditioner before. So, was having an allergic reaction. Great. What's next? Oh yes, this is only the beginning. After washing off to the best of my ability, still burning, I turned off the water and was sure I heard footsteps coming up the stairs or in the door or somewhere. I wasn't freaking out as I knew my brothers had been out and usually come in late. But I came out of the shower and nobody was there. Okay, I misheard it. Whatever, my pubes are on fire. As I'm getting dressed, putting Germoline on to settle the pain, I hear clanking in the kitchen. No big deal, right? My brothers are home, so I go downstairs to check if they're there, bringing one of my dogs just in case. No sign of them. Whatever, my pubes are still on fire. I had originally planned on staying downstairs for a while to go on the computer, but the pube situation kind of put me off. So I go to bed, and luckily, I have a lock on my door, and sleep with 3 terriers on the bed. Yes, there is no room for me. Then, I'm woken up to police sirens and my mum knocking on my door. Panicked, I open the door and my mum explains that there was an escaped mental patient from the hospital we live opposite to, and they had gotten into our house, because I had left the door unlocked for my brothers. Scary to think they could have been watching me when I was downstairs. Gonna give my brothers a key next time. At least I could say, my soft, burning pubes could have saved my life last night, cause if I went on the computer I wouldn't have been safe locked in my room. Too long did not read. Conditioned my pubes, burned like shit, was allergic, Made me go to bed earlier than I was going to so I was safe with my dogs. Turns out there was an escaped mental patient in our house that night. Downstairs where I would have been if it wasn't for my burning pubes. Paragraphs man. How did 3 dogs not notice there was a stranger in the house? Seems fishy. Even if they aren't guard dogs and would attack, they would at least notice someone else in the house. OMG. I'm glad you're okay. I was laughing my ass off until the part about the intruder. How do we know you aren't the escaped mental patient logged into the downstairs PC, impersonating OP to make it look like OP is safe and sound? The lack of paragraphs makes me concerned for OP's health. Please let them go and go back to the hospital to take your meds. We love the part about the escaped mental patient. That's classic horror and it's really big with the youth nowadays. Maybe think about rewriting the build-up with the pube conditioning, and we think you'll have a great script. Glad you're okay. In regards to the allergic reaction, it might be the strawberry. I love strawberries, can eat them and I'm fine. But any strawberry product like soap or shampoo brings me out in hives or I get really itchy. It's so weird. You leave your front door unlocked? Yet you lock your bedroom door? And the dogs didn't hear anything? I doubt any of this is true. Today I fucked up by telling my boss he should lay me off. I heard a rumor at work that several teams were going to be forced to lay off a few people before the end of year. One of my teammates is a young immigrant from Singapore who just had a baby. I barely know him lol, but he's always a kind hard-working dude whenever we'd work together. I hated the idea of him being laid off right before Christmas. I also don't know how work visas work if someone loses their job, so it seemed extra tragic to me if he was going to be let go. I go to lunch with my boss twice a week to shoot the shit and brought up the layoff rumors during our last lunch. He confirmed the rumors. During lunch I told my boss that he should let me go instead of the guy who just had a baby if he had to choose someone. He laughed and said that he liked me and didn't want me leaving. Boss told me I was being let go 2 days later and thanked me for making the decision easy for him. Cue Curb Your Enthusiasm theme music. Anyways, no big deal. I wasn't in love with the work plus all my work friends got replaced over the last few years. Too long did not read. Told my boss he should fire me instead of my coworker who just had a baby. I was let go 2 days later lol. Edit. This is a today I fucked up because I don't have another job lined up or any real exit strategy lol. Wish me luck. Sorry about losing the job. At least you got to save someone else's. Honestly man, he probably respects the absolute hell out of you for doing that for the newborn and will probably give you a hell of a letter of recommendation. Ask him if he can. This isn't a today I fucked up at all. You did good friend. This should be TIWAH. What you did was good. The fucked up part which maybe could have done better is to tell your boss to be cool and give you the maximum advance notice he could before that happens so you can already be looking for a job, which if he was cool he should have done anyway, especially since you did him a solid by volunteering. You're perfect for humans being bros. Good on ya. I was in a similar situation and was glad it was me versus the 3 girls I worked with who had kids. You did such a selfless thing. I'm proud of you, stranger. Damn op, you did the right thing though. Good luck in future endeavors. Today I fucked up by agreeing to look at my coworker's phone. Usually these are happened 4 weeks ago. No, happened 15 minutes ago. So I work at a chain restaurant, and anyone who has ever worked at a chain restaurant knows the employees can be a bit uncouth. I was talking to my coworker about some sexual exploits that I am quite proud of. Just normal kitchen talk to be honest. Killing time. He interrupts me to say, "You won't believe this girl I met my birthday weekend. She was such a freak," and he proceeds to pull out his phone and show me not 1, but 3 pictures of this beautiful girl in very, very compromising positions. He did not show her face, but she had a very prominent side tattoo. Unique and easy to recognize. I said, "When was your birthday?" To which he proudly replies, "November 12th, he could see it on my face." Repulsed. Embarrassed. No words. Was her name, Katie, changed? How did you know that? Dude, that is really not cool you're showing those pics. WTF. Yeah, it was my now girlfriend. We started dating 2 weeks ago, so definitely not cheating. And I am not shaming her. All for liberation. But we actually were planning to have sex for the first time tomorrow. So now, I have to not only tell her that he is showing her pics but I get to picture her in reverse cowgirl when we meet tomorrow night. Too long did not read. Don't show pics of other people naked. Ever. My blood runs cold. My memory has just been sold. My angel is the centerfold. Angel is the centerfold. La 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 la. And now you work with a dude who balled your missus. Enjoy your meal. What an amazingly unfortunate coincidence. Nothing more. Good luck, op. People who show nudes are fucking deplorable humans. Why are people like that? I'm so sorry you had to be in this position, but I really hope you bring this up to her. Seriously. I know it makes you out to be in an awkward position, but this isn't okay. People really shouldn't show nudes, sex tapes without consent. That's just fucked up. What, so you actually looked and only became upset when you found out it was someone you were in a relationship with? Look on the bright side, op. At least you know she's going to be a sport. Did she know he took those photos? 'Cause if they are all in reverse cowgirl she may not even know, and that's not cool.